Hello, Kansas City. My name is Tennille Benton, and we're bringing you a special edition of Pastor's Corner. I'm here with Reverend Mark Smith from Allen Chapel A.M.E., which is the mother church of the Midwest Conference. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Reverend Smith.
Well, if you ask me and where I come from a little town in Iowa called Des Moines, Iowa. That was known as the 5th Episcopal District of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. And I migrated from there to Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri, where I met my wonderful wife, Sister Jan Smith, and we have 3 beautiful children and 2 grandchildren.
Excellent. Now, what made you want to get into the ministry?
Well, it was my grandfather was a pastor. My father is a pastor, and I was involved with church all my life. And it just seemed that that was my calling. I didn't get into the ministry because of my father or my grandfather, because being in the pastorate, in the ministry, is an individual calling from God. And I believe that when God calls you, he prepares you. And after all the things that I had been going through earlier in my life, I believe that God was preparing me for such a time as this. So I'm enjoying my ministry, and it's been challenging, but it's been very rewarding.
So, what were some things in your early life that prepared you for, as you say, such a time as this? Give us an example.
Well, I was always involved in the A.M.E. church from my birth, and the A.M.E. church is set up in such a way that young people are very active with the YPD, and as I got involved in Sunday school and in the YPD Young People's Organization and working with the usher board and the choir, I just enjoyed it. And that kept me really focused on doing the right thing and not really being able to get in a lot of trouble.
Exactly. I grew up with Gilbert Memorial AME Church. Special thanks to Reverend Brenda Smith, who's the pastor now. But as he said, those were things that we were involved in. YPD, the choir, Vacation Bible School. We spent a lot of time in church, and those are really things, those memories have sustained me as I have gotten older. And it's almost like you're almost on a mission to do right because you were raised right in the church. Do you feel that?
I feel that too, but it also goes back to how you were raised in your home. Because when I was coming up, the family was very important. And my mother and my father and my grandmother and my grandfather, who played a vital role in my life, nurtured me and mentored me to always do the right thing. And when I was involved in church, I was around other children that did the right things, and it was really a good way to be brought up. And you know, when you hear that old saying, it takes a village to raise a child,
Yes,
our neighborhood raised us.
Yes,
And
sir.
everybody knew each other, and we enjoyed each other, and we worshiped together. And that was one of the things that I really appreciated when I was coming up as a young person.
Now, you're with the African Methodist Episcopal family, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell our viewers what principles or what is the basic foundation of that?
The basic foundation of the African Episcopal Church is unity. We believe that God our Father, Christ our Redeemer, and humankind our family. And so when you put all that together, it creates an atmosphere of family and worship and love and unity, not only with your church family, but with your private family as well.
Excellent. Now, I believe that the church is an integral part of the African American community, along with family. How important do you feel that the church is, and what should we as a church be doing to affect change in our community?
Well, the church, as you know, has been the vocal point of any African community. And it used to be that whenever issues were being announced in the community, that the church, especially, would be the ones who would be in the forefront. They would let the people know what was going on, and the people had faith in the church and the pastor as steering them in the right direction. I think now we have gotten a little bit away from what we used to do because we have not allowed ourselves to communicate to our congregations what is actually going on in our communities. And for them to know, we need to get them back in the church so that we can be the instrument that can share with them, like politics, things going on in the community, black community especially, as to what they need to know that will help turn it around.
Now, tell me if you agree with me or disagree, but this is my view. I feel like we should be able to go to our church. I mean, if you need your lights paid, you need some food, you need a job. I believe that we should be able to go to our church first versus going to the state, versus getting on public assistance, getting food stamps or Section 8. Now, I know that we are limited sometimes in the funds that we have to do things in the church, but I believe that we should funnel our money into the church so that the church can continue to take care of the community. Do you agree with that?
To a point, I think that if the church is addressing the issues of the community, then the people who are in the community will start coming to those churches and start investing in the church. And once they start investing in the church and paying tithes and offerings that will help programs, then we can benefit from that, and they can benefit as well. But what's happened is our attendance has declined.
Yes, sir.
And to the point to where we need to go back out and start evangelizing our communities to let them know what programs we offer that can assist them. And a lot of churches are moving in that direction to where they have programs that address illiteracy. They have programs that address where they can tutor their children at the schools. And we need to get more involved in addressing those issues so that people will come back to the church. Because I believe the church will help people, and if we help them, they'll help us.
Excellent. That is something that you mentioned, the declining of membership or people participating in the church. Me and my grandfather, Thomas A. Benson, who's a member of Gilbert Memorial A.M.E. Church, we talked about that. And something that I suggested or noticed was that a lot of the younger people have gone on to go to college or get jobs. And so they're all over. Versus where when we were first coming up, everybody was in a centralized location. I feel that sometimes social media may be a way to get our church back out into the forefront, because a lot of the younger generation who have gone on to college, they may not be able to physically come to church because they're out of state, but they can watch our programs online and pay their tithes and offerings and participate in things of that way. How important do you think that social media is in continuing to further the mission of the church?
I think it's very important because of the fact, with all the things we have at our disposal right now in social media, we have the opportunity, like we can pay our tithes online.
Yes, sir.
And if we can have the information put out to those people that have been members of our communities and our churches, then they can still be associated with us and attached to us.
Excellent.
And with iPads and Twitter and all them kind of things, I can't even pronounce all that. Facebook and all these type of things. My grandson knows more about that than I do. These things have been made available to us, and we ought to utilize them. And at our church, we are trying right now to make videos of our services and providing our senior citizens who aren't able to come to church with DVD players, so that they can play it back in the comfort of their own home.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but this is something that we at Cascade Media Group can do. We can provide an outlet for you to reach the senior citizens in your church and the younger generation.
Excellent.
And we can talk about that, of course, after the show. Can you tell our viewers where they can find you, how they can come and worship and connect with you?
Well, we are located at 4125 Benton Boulevard here in Kansas City, Missouri. And our worship services begin Sunday school at 9 o'clock, worship service at 10:15. We have 2 Bible studies on Tuesdays, one at 12 and one at 7 o'clock.
Excellent, excellent. I'm going to ask you something, and don't feel put on the spot, but I have a question. I want you to tell our viewers something that they may not know about you.
Well, I don't know what that would be other than I'm just going to put it this way. I'm a child of God. I love God's people, and I pray that I can continue to make a difference in the community by preaching God's word, teaching God's word, and doing what God has called me to do, and that's being a good disciple.
Excellent, excellent. My name is Tennille Benton, and we're here with Reverend Mark Smith from Allen A.M.E. Church, and we're on Pastor's Corner. I'd like to thank you for your time, and you have an awesome, awesome day.
I'm IFBB Bikini Pro Cat Williams, and when I'm not working out in the gym, I'm searching the web on Cascade Media and What's Up Kansas City. So make sure you check them out.